Hey everyone! Today we're diving into one of the most bizarre and fascinating creatures on Earth. Imagine a frog so unique that you can literally see its heart beating through its skin. I'm talking about the glass frog. And trust me, this little amphibian is about to blow your mind. Now, I've covered a lot of weird animals on this channel, but glass frogs, they're on a whole different level. We're going to explore everything about these incredible creatures, from their mind-bending transparency to their surprising superpowers, their dedicated parenting skills, and why scientists are studying them to potentially save human lives. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you're going to see nature in a completely different way. So what exactly is a glass frog? Well, picture this. You're walking through a misty rainforest in Central or South America. The air is thick and humid, and you hear water rushing from a nearby stream. You spot what looks like a tiny lime green frog clinging to a leaf. Cute, right? Nothing too unusual. But here's where it gets absolutely wild. Flip that frog over, and you can see right through its belly. I'm not talking about slightly see-through skin. I mean, you can literally watch its internal organs functioning in real time. You can see its heart pumping blood through translucent arteries. You can watch its digestive system processing its last meal. You can observe its liver doing its thing. And if it's a female, you can even count the eggs developing inside her body. It's like nature installed a transparent window on the underside of this frog, giving us a front row seat to its inner workings. The scientific name for these frogs is Centralinidae, and there are over 150 different species of glass frogs. They were first described by scientists in 1872, but we're still discovering new species today. In fact, just in the last decade, researchers have identified dozens of new glass frog species hiding in remote rainforests. Each discovery adds more pieces to the puzzle of how these incredible creatures evolved their transparency. Let's talk about what these frogs actually look like, because they're fascinating from every angle. Glass frogs are relatively small. Most species range from about 1 to 3 inches long. That's roughly the size of a grape to a small lime. They're not going to win any size competitions, but what they lack in stature, they more than make up for in uniqueness. From above, glass frogs look fairly typical for tree frogs. Their dorsal side, that's the top of their body, is usually a bright, vibrant lime green. This coloration is crucial for their survival because it allows them to blend perfectly with the leaves they live on. Some species have small spots or patterns, while others are solid green. The texture of their skin is smooth and slightly glossy, almost like it's been polished. But flip them over, and that's where the magic happens. The ventral side, the belly, is where the transparency occurs. In some species, the skin here is so clear, it's almost like looking at a biology textbook come to life. You can see the heart, which appears as a tiny red pulsing organ. You can trace the digestive tract winding through the body. The liver is visible as a darker mass, and the eggs in females show up as little spheres. Now, not all glass frogs are equally transparent. Some species, like the Fleischmann's glass frog, have extremely clear skin. Others might have a slightly milky or cloudy appearance to their belly, where you can make out shapes but not see every detail. Scientists are still trying to understand why different species have different levels of transparency. Their eyes are another striking feature. Glass frogs have large, bulging eyes that stick out from their heads, giving them excellent vision for hunting at night. These eyes often have a golden, copper, or silvery tint. And here's something really cool. They have horizontal pupils, similar to goats or octopi. This pupil shape gives them a wider field of vision, helping them spot both prey and predators. And those tiny fingers and toes? They're equipped with adhesive pads that work like natural suction cups. These pads allow glass frogs to cling to smooth leaves and wet surfaces without slipping. Each toe ends in a small disc that can grip onto virtually any surface in their rainforest habitat. Now here's where things get absolutely mind-blowing. In 2022, scientists made a discovery about glass frogs that sounds like something straight out of a superhero comic. These frogs can actively control their transparency. When they sleep, they become up to 61% more transparent than when they're awake. Let me say that again. They have a biological invisibility cloak that they can turn on and off. But how do they do this? The answer is both brilliant and bizarre. When a glass frog settles down to sleep, it literally packs almost all of its red blood cells into its liver. The liver acts like a storage facility, holding onto these cells while the frog rests. With the red blood cells hidden away, there's much less color in the frog's body, making it even more transparent and harder for predators to spot. Think about how dangerous this sounds for a moment. Red blood cells carry oxygen throughout our bodies. Without them circulating, we'd die within minutes. But glass frogs have evolved a way to do this safely every single night. They can essentially park 89% of their red blood cells in their liver and maintain just enough circulation to keep vital organs functioning. When they wake up, they release those blood cells back into circulation like nothing happened. It's like they're running on reserve power mode. Researchers at Duke University discovered this using a technique called photoacoustic imaging, which allowed them to track the red blood cells without disturbing the frogs. What they found was that during the day, when glass frogs are sleeping, their livers swell up and become much darker because they're engorged with blood. At night, when the frogs wake up and become active, the liver shrinks back to normal size and the blood circulates freely. This discovery has huge implications for human medicine. You see, when you concentrate blood cells in one place, they usually clump together and form clots. Blood clots are responsible for heart attacks and strokes in humans. But somehow, glass frogs can pack millions of red blood cells into a tiny space without any clotting. Scientists are now studying the biochemistry of glass frog blood to understand how they prevent clotting. If we can figure out their secret, it could lead to new treatments or medications to prevent blood clots in humans undergoing surgery or dealing with cardiovascular disease. The evolutionary advantage of this transparency is clear. Camouflage. Glass frogs sleep on the undersides of leaves during the day, and their transparency makes them incredibly difficult for birds, snakes, and other predators to spot. Even if a predator is looking right at the leaf, the frog's see-through body blends with the background, making it nearly invisible. It's one of the most sophisticated camouflage systems in the natural world. Glass frogs are nocturnal creatures, meaning they're most active at night. During the day, they find a suitable leaf, usually one hanging over a stream, and they settle in for a long sleep. They position themselves on the underside of the leaf, which serves two purposes. First, it keeps them out of direct sunlight, which could dry out their sensitive skin. Second, it puts them in the perfect position for their transparency camouflage to work its magic. When night falls, glass frogs come alive. They're primarily insectivores, which means their diet consists mainly of small insects and other invertebrates. They'll hunt for flies, moths, crickets, spiders, and other tiny creatures that come within striking range. Glass frogs are ambush predators. They don't chase down their prey. Instead, they sit very still on a leaf or branch, waiting patiently. When an unsuspecting insect comes close enough, the frog's long, sticky tongue shoots out with incredible speed, snatching the prey and pulling it back into the mouth. The whole strike takes less than a second. But here's where glass frogs really stand out from other amphibians: their parenting behavior. Most frogs lay eggs and then abandon them, leaving the tadpoles to fend for themselves. Not glass frogs. These amphibians have evolved some of the most dedicated parenting behaviors in the frog world. During mating season, which typically occurs during the rainy season when water levels are high, male glass frogs become incredibly territorial. They'll claim a leaf overhanging a stream and defend it aggressively. Males attract females by calling out with a high-pitched whistling or chirping sound. Each species has its own unique call, which helps females identify the right mate. When a female is attracted to a male's call, she'll approach his territory, and if she approves of his chosen spot, mating occurs. The female then lays her eggs, usually between 20 to 30 of them, on the underside of the leaf, directly above the water. This location is crucial. The eggs need moisture to develop, and being over water ensures they stay hydrated. Here's where the male glass frog really earns his Dad of the Year award. After the female leaves, the male stays behind to guard the eggs. And we're not talking about casual supervision. These dads are serious bodyguards. The male will sit on or near the eggs for days or even weeks, keeping them safe from predators. The main threats to glass frog eggs are wasps, flies, snakes, and other frogs that want an easy meal. When a threat approaches, the male glass frog doesn't run away. He'll actually defend the eggs by kicking at the intruder with his powerful hind legs. He'll also urinate on the eggs to keep them moist, and may even move around them to distribute moisture evenly. This level of parental care is extremely rare in amphibians. After about 2 weeks, depending on the species and temperature, the eggs hatch. The tiny tadpoles, each about the size of a grain of rice, wriggle free from their jelly-like egg sacs and drop into the stream below. This is why the placement over water is so important. It's a direct delivery system for the tadpoles. Once in the water, the tadpoles are on their own. They'll spend the next several weeks developing in the stream, feeding on algae and organic matter, gradually growing their legs and absorbing their tails. Eventually, they'll emerge from the water as tiny glass frogs, ready to climb up into the trees and continue the cycle. Glass frogs are found exclusively in the neotropics. That's the tropical regions of the Americas. Their range extends from southern Mexico through Central America and down into South America as far as Bolivia and Argentina. They're most diverse in countries like Ecuador, Colombia, and Costa Rica, where the rainforests are dense and streams are abundant. These frogs are highly specialized for their environment. They need pristine rainforest streams with clean, flowing water for their tadpoles to develop. They require dense tree canopy cover to provide the humidity and shade they need, and they need healthy insect populations to feed on. This specialization makes them incredibly sensitive to environmental changes. Unfortunately, glass frogs face numerous threats. Habitat loss is the biggest problem. Rainforests throughout Central and South America are being cleared for agriculture, cattle ranching, and development. When forests are cut down, the streams dry up or become polluted, and glass frogs lose both their breeding sites and their habitat. Climate change is another major threat. Changes in rainfall patterns can affect stream flow and forest moisture levels. Temperature increases can disrupt breeding cycles and make some areas unsuitable for glass frogs. Amphibians are particularly vulnerable to climate change because they have permeable skin that makes them sensitive to temperature and humidity changes. There's also a devastating disease called chytridiomycosis, caused by a fungal pathogen called Batrachochytrium dendrobatitis, or BD for short. This fungus has wiped out amphibian populations worldwide, and glass frogs are not immune. The fungus infects their skin, disrupting their ability to breathe and regulate water and electrolytes, often leading to death. The good news is that conservation efforts are underway. Many glass frog habitats are now protected within national parks and reserves. Scientists are working to breed glass frogs in captivity as insurance populations in case wild populations crash. Researchers are also studying the frogs' biology to better understand their needs and how to protect them. Some indigenous communities in Central and South America are also playing a crucial role in conservation. They're protecting their traditional lands from deforestation, which in turn protects glass frog habitats. Ecotourism focused on seeing glass frogs in the wild is also providing economic incentives to preserve rainforests. Before we wrap up, let me hit you with a few more amazing facts about glass frogs. Did you know that glass frog tadpoles have a remarkable ability? They're rheophilic, meaning they're adapted to live in fast-flowing water. They have specialized sucker mouths that allow them to cling to rocks in rushing streams without being washed away. Here's another cool one. Some glass frog species can live up to 14 years in captivity, though their lifespan in the wild is probably shorter due to predation and disease. That's pretty impressive for such a small amphibian. And get this, the transparency in glass frogs isn't just in their skin. Some of their internal organs, like their intestines, are also partially transparent. Scientists believe this helps enhance the overall camouflage effect. So there you have it, the glass frog, a tiny transparent marvel that can literally hide its blood to become invisible, guards its eggs like a devoted parent, and might hold the key to preventing blood clots in humans. These frogs remind us that nature is full of solutions to problems we didn't even know existed. They're proof that some of the smallest creatures can teach us the biggest lessons. If you enjoyed learning about this incredible creature, please hit that like button and subscribe for more wildlife content. It really helps the channel grow. What animal should I cover next? Drop your suggestions in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. And if you want to help protect glass frogs and their habitats, I've linked some reputable conservation organizations in the description. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.